And 47-47 for the winner by majority decision, and
still the undisputed African fighting podcast champion of the world. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. This is If I Was a Betting Man, formerly known as I Was Betting Man. With me today, brother Gaia. What's happening, bro?
Let's go, bro. You see, I got the green color on today, so we got to get that paper. Let's go, bro. Hopefully this.
So we got some UFC and one championship picks for you this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the props still unavailable to us this evening, but they will be available tomorrow morning. And we can assure you that we will be locking all of these picks in. Some of them have been locked in already. The one championship picks will be locked in tomorrow morning. So before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to ask you from the bottom of my heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Fighting with Friends. So without any further ado, BG, let's take it away. It is UFC Fight Night. Bautista versus Oliveira. We're going to take it away with parlay number one. BG, let's go.
Let's go. Parlay number 1. I'm making this nice and fun for the guys on screen. As you can see, it's based on my for sure picks. These are basically props. I'm going to keep it nice and simple, but I find also these are actually my most confident picks on this fight card. Even though it's difficult to choose methods of victory when it comes to MMA, but I think these fights are a little bit self-explanatory. So I'm beginning with the main event of this fight card. We have Mario Bautista taking on Vinicius Oliveira in the bantamweight division, and it's actually quite an interesting fight because Mario Bautista, I kind of feel like he's overlooked. I think people think he's boring, but I actually feel like he's quite an incredible athlete and a very, very good fighter, coached extremely well. He's taken on a guy that's got explosive power, very creative, knockout artist, but he does slow down as the fight goes on, especially after round 2. That makes me fearsome, considering that this is going to be a 5-round fight. I don't know if Oliveira can go the 5 rounds, especially because of what his style is like, right? So I've got Mario Bautista getting him over decision. I feel like once we get into rounds 3, 4, and 5, that's where the fight's going to start taking over for Mario Bautista, where he's starting to feel more powerful. He just will slow down. The pop and shot will be less. I feel like the best opportunities for Oliveira would be rounds 1 and 2. If you can get Bautista out in that first 2 rounds, the fight is easy. But if he can't finish Mario Bautista within the first 2 rounds, I get a very, very strong feeling that the fight might be over for him after that. It's going to be an uphill battle for him. Bautista doesn't really knock people out, but he does outwork them. That's his best attribute, and that's why I got Bautista by decision. Co-main event. My second pick, which I think is also of a highly likely chance. You have to, you have to scroll down just a little bit on this fight card, but it's basically on the prelims. We have Daniil Danchenko, and he's taking on a Alex Morono. And I think about Morono, good striker, but doesn't really have that killer instinct anymore. He is of the older guard. He has slowed down tremendously, so he's not the same guy that he is in the past. He fights safe, but I mean, I've seen enough fights over the last 4 years where when he gets tagged in there, it's kind of like the dog in him isn't there anymore. Danchenko, I've watched him come up into the scene from Ultimate Fighter. The dude's an absolute stud. He won the tournament in very good fashion, very dominant fashion as well. Devastating striker, trains out in Thailand consistently, lives out there. Muay Thai is his base, devastating elbows. And he's got that heart of a lion at the moment where you're going to have to break his arm to get him out of there. And I think he's going to walk through Alex Morono. That's why I got him by KO. Then also on my parlay, we also have my boy, a new addition to the fighting nerds, Michal Olizejsek. He's on this fight card, taking on a good name in Marc-Andre Barriol. And Marc-Andre is a good fighter, don't get me wrong, but he is also of the older guard. He's not necessarily going to be going for a title run anytime soon. And also his fight style is also on paper should give Michal Olizejsek a lot of problems, right, in terms of the relentless takedowns, relentless pressure for Marc-Andre. And he's also the high volume kind of striker. However, Michal Olizejsek is more devastating, a lot more potency to his boxing. He's sharp, and he has some very good takedown defense, especially now in that fighting nerds. He looks so much better as a fighter. So that's why I've got Michal Olizejsek actually finishing Marc-Andre, because Marc-Andre, let's be real, he's made of glass at this point in his career right now. I mean, Dustin Stoltzfus, who is probably the biggest dog in the UFC history in terms of like doesn't really get much success out in the octagon, was able to knock Marc-Andre out. To me, I'm like, nah, that don't fly by me.
Got it!
Michal Olizejsek is on the rise. 30 years old. He's on the rise at this moment, so I think he's going to get the finish there. Another statement win for him. And I got it by KO. And on your screen, you can see the odds for that is actually pretty good. 6.26 is not bad, considering that those are likely outcomes, actually. Likely than any of the other fights. I mean, I can't really see Olizejsek and Andre going to decision because of how Olizejsek fights. Danchenko is just he's a finisher of the highest order. His style is also quite a bit of a nightmare for Morono. And then Bautista, bro. The man don't get tired. He's just a beast in there, and he just keeps going. And Oliveira, in his last fight, he didn't look that good in the 3rd round. I didn't like what I saw in the 3rd round, and it didn't impress me that much, and that concerns me. If he fixes that and he can go 5 rounds, well done. But I think his style doesn't allow him to go 5 rounds, so that's why I got Bautista in there.
Very nicely done there, BG. You did bring up an interesting point there, bro. I also have that fight going the distance between Bautista and Oliveira. But you did mention an interesting point there about we don't know about the gas tank. So I feel like there might also be a potential for a late finish for Bautista by TKO there,
Yes,
bro. And I am a bit
yes,
concerned about that. Even though, like I said, I did put that fight to go the distance on one of my parlays, as you'll see later. But yeah, just
yeah.
something that I wanted to kind of bring up to you. I'm sure you've thought about it, but yeah, maybe you could just give us your
It,
thoughts there on
it is.
how likely you think that is.
No, 80. I completely agree with you, bro. I also thought about the finish, but I was like, look, initially I was like, you know what, there can be there's a good shot for a finish for Bautista purely because when I've seen Oliveira fight over the 3 rounds, when he goes to decision, I just want to remind myself who the last opponent was because that opponent took him to the 3rd round, and this is not it was Kyler Phillips, bro. Like Kyler
Yeah,
Phillips is not necessarily like a Peyton Talbot, where it's like this top ranking guy. Kyler Phillips is good, but I don't rate him as top tier material just yet. And he took Oliveira to 3 rounds, bro. And Oliveira looked sloppy in the later rounds. And I was like, yo, I don't know what I'm looking at. This is not a fight of Oliveira 3 years ago. This was a very recent fight. It was July 2025. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, that's the recent, bro. Is that what he looks like right now? It's a bit shocking considering what the hype is around him, right? And if you look at his tape, he's a bit of a finisher. Um, but because he showed me those signs that he got tired in the later rounds, and Caleb Phillips was able to land on him in the later rounds, I was like, you know what? Bautista could get a finish here. But then what made me second guess the finish for Bautista is that he don't really finish fighters. He just outschools them, he outdogs them, he out wrestles them, he out tosses them for 3 or 5 rounds, right? Depending on how long it goes. Because even in the fight against Umar Nurmagomedov with Bautista, dude, you could make a very strong argument if that fight had 2 more rounds, Bautista probably would have finished him. He was that tired. And Bautista was picking up the pace. And I feel like this fight could play out a very similar fashion because of Oliveira's style. It's so explosive. Everything that he throws, he's not love tapping you and then dropping a bomb. Every shot he's throwing is with cruel intentions, whether it's a spinning wheel kick or a hook or a jab or overhand. He's throwing all his energy into it. And I think that, and also if you think about Batista's movement, whenever he's on the defense, it's a lot of lateral and jumping out of the way kind of stuff. Again, the expression here is lots of explosive movement. That is not something that can go for 5 rounds. That style doesn't go 5 rounds. That style can give you a hard 2 rounds, depending on how you manage it. But traditionally, it doesn't go 5 rounds. Whereas Batista, to be able to pick up the pace as the fight goes on, means that he can manage 5 rounds at the elite level. And yeah, the TKO finish may be there, AD, but I just feel like because Batista hasn't really got a high finishing rate, he might not even have the powerful shot to get him. Maybe a submission.
yeah. Fair point. Fair point. All right, then, PG, that is parlay number one. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Just a reminder to give us your picks for UFC Fight Night, Bautista versus Oliveira, and also Friday Fight Nights, one Friday fights, 1-4-1, which we'll get into a little bit later. But
Yeah,
anyway, BG, parlay number two.
let's go. So parlay number 2, I sat down and I was thinking to myself, I needed to pick something that because we know in MMA it's so difficult to choose a method of victory, right? It's so hard to choose that. So I was like, okay, let me do a money line, just straight up who wins, and then which ones I'm confident on. I like that Jedi responded to it in our WhatsApp group about this because it was actually opposing my list. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there was opposites to it. Apart from Huriguchi, who was literally the only one we agreed on actually. I've got Kyoji Horiguchi winning this fight, and I think it's an incredible fight because Amir Albazi is a top level guy, right? Apart from losing to the best of the division, anyone else, if you think about the division, I think Albazi holds his own against them really well. He's a fantastic grappler. He's powerful. He's very difficult to finish. Asked Moreno. Moreno tagged him for 5 rounds, and he was just there in the fight the whole time, not going away. But he is a step slower. He's a step below the elite level. Albazi doesn't have the fact that he lost 5 rounds to Moreno, and it's Moreno that's not even the championship fighter anymore, tells me that he's a level below that. And Moreno is now not even the top five. Excuse me, he's not even like the guy considered to beat, considering that he just lost to Tatsuro Taira. So it's like, okay, Albazi is just below that. I think Kyoji Horiguchi, for me, he holds a lot of weight to his name. Firstly, he's fought against Mighty Mouse. He's fought against the best of the best. He's gone to Ryzen and clocked Ryzen. Now he's back. And I must be honest, dude, I was impressed with Horiguchi's last performance. I really was. And I think that he's gonna put Albazi on the back foot as well. I think he might struggle at first with the speed of Albazi in the beginning, and he might not get the takedown that easy. As the fight goes on, I think Horiguchi will pull away from him. So I got Horiguchi for the win there in the money line. This is the interesting one. This is what Jed argued with me a little bit. Not argued, but he had went against me. He went Gene Matsumoto, and I've got Farhat Basharat on my selection there. He's undefeated at the moment. I think his brother's also fighting on this fight card as well. And if you watch what's his name, Farid Basharat's fights, this man's got the stuff. No, it reminds me of there's a fight there in one that gets overlooked, but he's taking out big names, and that is your guy. What's his name? Muhammad Sir Sarani. Very similar vibe. Very similar vibe. Quietly going in there, but actually like executing such phenomenal game plans and striked in such a phenomenal way that fighters are taking pictures against them. I mean, Cicerani made Kaito Uno, Liu Mingyang, Shadow, all these guys look average again, and he's only 23, and he made them look average. Basharat has got a very similar vibe when he's fighting in the MMA side of things, where the way he strikes and the way he moves against his opponents, they end up taking pictures because he's just too flashy, he's too fast, and he can grapple, and he's got submissions. That's why he strikes so fluidly, because he's not afraid of being taken down. He's like, it's fine, bro. We can go to the ground. I have no problem doing that. You know what I mean? And that's why I got him for the win here. He's a little bit more threatening than Gene. Gene is very powerful. He's a tank in this division. He's a big bantamweight. Fantastic jiu-jitsu. But his boxing for me isn't really something I consider that can disrupt Basharat. I think he may be able to crack him with the overhand right. He may be a little bit more powerful than Basharat. Basharat is so precise and so high IQ with what he's attacking that you don't even have your power won't even matter. You won't even get a chance to hit him with that power. That's why I got Basharat for the win. Then we move into the heavyweights. And we got Jelton Almeida. I'm picking Jelton Almeida because I think he's smart enough to know that not to make this a kickboxing fight and to actually do what Jelton Almeida normally does. Get him to the ground,
with the
down him, pound on
takedowns.
him, look for
You think he
submission.
gives a shit if he misses a takedown?
Exactly. That's exactly how he fights, by the way. You know, Almeida don't give two flying fucks, bro. He's gonna take you down, and if he doesn't get it, he will try for 15 minutes to get it, and they will have to give him the win for that because he's taking you down. So the onus is actually on Kunuev to change the way the fight is gonna go. And if he doesn't really do that, Almeida's gonna take him down and get him out of there. And then the final one is actually all the way down on the prelims. If you scroll down, my parlay, and this is a fight where it's big dog versus big dog. Both guys want to be that big dog in the ring. Jakub Vuklec is a high-level striker, I'd say, or not really a high-level striker, but he's got a really good, effective way of striking. But he's actually a very good grappling specialist. That's his forte. Muin is pretty much the same. Muin Gafurov is also a guy that's got high-level grappling. I mean, he's got the Dagestani style, by the way. He's a combat sambo champion, I think it is as well. He's got a massive record. I think he's undefeated in 20 fights at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. So I think his grappling's a little bit better. Striking-wise, I don't think he's as flashy as Jakub. However, I do believe that Muin attacks calves and body shots in a way that Jakub doesn't. And that's why I'm favoring Muin for the win here between the two dogs. I just feel like the one who's able to be successful with the takedowns will get the job done here. And that's why I got Muin, because of that combat sambo wrestling background. I think he's a little bit better than Jakub's. Jakub's grappling is good, but it's scramble heavy. There's a lot of chaos in there, and then cinches up a rear naked choke. Whereas Muin doesn't give you those opportunities to do that because he's such a very, very safe grappler like those Dagestanis are. So I got Muin for the win there, and that's all on the money line, which is also not a bad set of odds if you think about it.
Give thanks, brother guy. Give thanks indeed. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, a reminder to give us your picks for the UFC Fight Night, Bautista versus Oliveira. If we got anyone in the chat who is betting this weekend, give us your picks. Let us know, as I will now transition into some picks of my own. As discussed, I got Bautista and Oliveira to go the distance. Look, Bautista's last 5 fights have all gone to decision. Oliveira's last 3 fights have all gone to decision. The dynamic, though, is that this is a 5-round fight, and we don't know what Oliveira is going to look like in those last 2 rounds. So it's like you said, Bautista doesn't really knock out his opponents, but there can be that element of exhaustion where he just like folds you like a lawn chair. You know what I mean? And that's what that's my biggest concern there. But I think all odds are pointing for this one to go the distance. I was very surprised by the bookies giving this 2.3 to go the distance, bro. So they actually fancying this one to not go the distance, which I think is maybe they're overlooking something, or maybe we're overlooking something. Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comment section.
You know what I think it is? Sorry, AD, before you continue there, I think they might believe that stylistically, if you look at Oliveira's tape, he normally runs through fighters that's got Bautista's fight style, right? Because Bautista, let's be honest, he's not like the most flashiest striker, right? He doesn't knock people out. He's got an okay calf kick on him. His boxing is alright, but what makes him effective is that he doesn't get tired and he just like weighs on you over the fight, right? And Oliveira, like before coming into the UFC, was walking through fighters like that. He made it look easy if you look at his tape. But also a big thing for me is they're probably thinking that he's going to be able to KO Bautista here, but Bautista is tough as nails. He doesn't really see him get finished that much in the UFC, right? And Oliveira, fight against Kyler Phillips, showcased me that he's got very bad defense once he's tired. The man don't keep his hands up, right? His legs kicks comes very sloppy at the end of that rounds. And for me, that's not something that you want to fight. You want to have when you're fighting against elite fighters of your division. I'm not saying Bautista is elite of the elite, but I saw enough the way he fought against Umar Nurmagomedov to know that Bautista can feel in his heart of hearts that he's right there, like he's knocking on the door of getting into that level. You know what I'm saying? And the fight, and we all know, when it comes to any sport, your gas tank is one of your biggest weapons. And if you don't have that in fighting, dude, you're done. You're cooked, bro.
Yeah, agreed. And we know that Bautista has a gas tank. He has it in spades, bro.
Yeah.
So I mean, you going for that one for Bautista by decision? I was initially gonna go for that, but I think likely this one will go the distance just based on previous matches. Like I said, Bautista's last 5 and Oliveira's last 3 have all gone the distance. So going a lot of numbers here. And then again with Bruno Brazil versus Ketlin Souza, I've also got this one to go the distance. Bruno Brazil's last 4 fights have all gone to decision. Ketlin Souza's last 2 fights have gone to decision. She got a sub before that and a decision before that. I also did search a stat. This is ChatGPT, ladies and gentlemen, so take this with a pinch of salt. But since 2020, 68% of women's strawweight fights have all gone the distance, bro. So with that in mind, based on the individual performances here and the overall numbers of the strawweight division, I'm gonna bet this one to go the distance.
Yeah, I can back that.
Yeah, and then of course Oliveira, like you said, man's been a transformed fighter since he joined the fighting. So I got him to get done on the money line here. And quite confident in that pick. So let's go. That's going at 3.53, and that is plus 253 for my Vegas homies. Let go.
You know what, 80? I was looking through that Brazil versus Souza fight. I'm not gonna lie, I was tempted to get invested into it. I watched the tape on both of them. Brazil is a very, very good striker. But this is also stylistically a matchup that may not be in her favor because Souza is a BJJ specialist, and she's built like one of those what's her name? Jessica Andrade type Brazilians. You know, that short, stocky, power 99, agility 40. You know what I mean? But like durability, it's gonna take a lot to put her away. And I think Brazil has got the height, the reach, and the speed advantage over, and even technically a much better striker than Souza. But is she going to have enough power to put her away? You know what I mean? Brazil can attack the body really well, but the target is so small. What if Souza doesn't allow that? What if Souza wrestles heavy? And I think stylistically, this fight might just go more likely to go the distance than it would for anyone getting a finish. Because what's Brazil's best chance of a finish?
Probably TKO, bro. Like TKO by punches, I imagine, bro. But that's it. And like I said, our last 5 fights have all gone to decision. So I mean, it's gonna be an anomaly if this one doesn't go. But let's go, Brazil.
The only way I see Souza winning this fight is she bags the rounds by being grappling heavy, and then possibly even getting a finish with the sub later rounds if she plays it well. But they both can get. Excuse me, Souza does get tired in her fights. But anyway, I think going the distance is probably the safest option there.
Fair play. Thank you, BG. I'm glad to hear some confirmation there that our thoughts are not completely insane. So that's great. But before you think that, let me show you my second parlay, which does get a little bit crazy, yeah. So parlay 2, this is all money line. I'm thinking about changing this Johnny Walker bet to Johnny Walker by knockout because I don't see him getting the job done any other way. Which
Johnny
might
Walker,
sweet.
yeah.
Hey?
Oh, Julius Walker. I was like,
Oh, is
oh,
it Julius Walker?
yeah. I was like, Johnny
Okay.
Walker.
I was like Johnny Walker. Okay, well, fuck. Then I'll have to. We go Julius Walker. Now I'll have to remove that then, bro.
Against
I thought
Jacoby.
it was Johnny Walker, bro.
Johnny Walker, yeah, all day. All day he'll beat Jacoby.
That's
I'm
horrible.
not convinced with this Walker, man. But okay.
Okay, now let me have a look at that then. We'll take
I'll probably
Julius
go to-
Walker off.
Yeah.
And then we'll replace that with.
Wouldn't go that.
Let me see. Just give me a second here, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
I go
Wang.
Veretnikov. Okay, there's no props here. How about we
price.
go for?
First
I
round
think
finish.
I'll put Bautista by decision on here. I
You
think
could
that's
go
a nice one. Yeah.
Neil Danchenko by finish.
Donchenko by finish. Coyote.
I'd say TKO.
Yeah, okay. So let's just re-edit that parlay, ladies and gentlemen. My sincerest apologies about this.
So it was Johnny Walker.
I thought it was my guy. I thought my guy Johnny Walker was on the card, boys. But okay,
Shia,
he's not
sorry,
to
but
be
it
this
was-
time. So we're gonna take that out and we're gonna go Bautista by decision. Oops. So we'll go Bautista by decision.
You have him in 2 parlays.
Well, I have him going the distance in the other parlay. I have him now winning by decision. And then we'll go. Who's your boy Donchenko by KO TKO?
My boy, yeah.
Donchenko.
Danchenko's good. For me, you have to wrestle him to beat him. And Moreno don't wrestle for shit. That man don't know how to grapple.
Okay, that's a healthy parlay. Total odds 8.69.
Sheesh. Didn't expect that. Who boosted it so much? Eco
think
price
it-
as well.
Bautista by decision.
Oh, okay.
So that's plus 769 from our Vegas home is. I will bring that up on screen. I apologize about that, boys.
What is
Just very
Bautista by
excited to
decision?
see.
Us? Just him by decision?
Him by decision is 3 plus 200.
Yo, is he the dog in this fight?
No, he's not. He's the favorite,
Oh, he's-
but winning by decision.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that is it then. I think. Let me
like
just
that.
bring that up one more time.
See it again? Why do you have Kong on your card? On your,
Oh yeah,
on your
Kong,
list?
because my girl Wang Kong, she of course the doctor famous for the head kick knockout.
No, it's not her.
She isn't it though?
No. She did get knocked out in the debut fight, but it wasn't her. It was 2 other fighters that was involved in that doctor.
Who was that? The doctor?
I forgot her name. She won the road to UFC or China tournament. But it wasn't. They didn't fight each other yet. They're not. I don't even think they're in the same division.
Let me see Wang Kong. I recognize Wang Kong, man.
Yeah, we
Remember
watched.
Wang Kong on a 2-fight streak here. She's beaten 2 Brazilians. including Bruno Brazil. Yeah. So yeah, let's go Wang Kong.
Fighter, she's
Yeah,
fighting pretty good, eh? Eduarda is taller than her. She's long rangy. She's got great jiu-jitsu. Probably she doesn't box as well as Wang Kong, but Wang Kong also doesn't do a good job against jiu-jitsu fighters. That's another thing.
yeah. Look, I mean, Wang Kong's very well priced there. I mean, she's pretty safe pick. If let me just have a look at the numbers here. She is actually the biggest favorite on the card besides
Sheesh.
Horiguchi. So
Horiguchi, the biggest favorite. Also a favorite.
Horiguchi and Wang Kong are the two biggest favorites on the card. So yeah, I think
Okay.
good parlay for there, Wang Kong. Let's go.
Mhm.
Bautista by decision.
You also got
PG
Almeida.
Yeah, Jelton Almeida on the money line. Gonna wrestle. Gonna do some wrestling.
Rob with the
So-
takedowns.
so-
You think
So that fight that you were referring to with the doctor, the doctor, her name is Shi Ming. She won with that big KO over Feng Shao Kan.
Okay, there we go. Give thanks, PG. Breaking
That was
news.
the Figueiredo versus Peter Yan fight card.
It's actually practice this breaking news.
Am I supposed to deliver the news now?
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, I'm taking the piss here, but yeah, those are parlays, ladies and gentlemen.
Should we recap it quickly
We're gonna-
before we move on?
Yeah, we'll do a quick recap before we move to BG's one championship, one Friday fights, one for one. So BG, just quickly recap your parlay one, please.
Fantastic. So parlay one are all props, bets, methods of victory. I have Mario Bautista beating Vinicius Oliveira by decision. That's the likeliest outcome in that fight. I've also got Daniel Donchenko by KO against Alex Morona. I think Morona is past his best. Donchenko is finally entering the fray, becoming one of the top prospects of UFC right now. Michal Olizasek is a transformed fighter. 3 fights, 2 finishes, I think it is. Looking fantastic. Boxing too sharp. I think he's going to be too quick for Mark Andre. He's going to get the KO then. I think that's very, very good odds. Only 3 fights. Let's go, bro. Right, then parlay number 2, the UFC all straight money lines. I've got Kyoji Horiguchi, Farhat Basharat. I've got Jelton Almeida and Muin Gafurov all on the money line. I feel like they are safe picks for me. Horiguchi is going to get Albazi. He's on the rise. He's a top level fighter. He's maintaining partner. He's the former champion. Basharat undefeated, too sharp, too fast. He's going to put on a show on this fight card. Almeida, the biggest blanket in the UFC heavyweight division right now. He's going to lay on you for as long as it takes to get the win. And Gafurov, I think, is just going to be able to be defensively good with the offense of his opponent. So I've got Win Gafurov for the win there. I think it's a really good parlays. Let's go.
Let's go, brother guy. Let's go. I'm gonna very quickly take you through my parlays, ladies and gentlemen. So, parlay number 1 for me, ladies and gentlemen, that is, of course, Bautista and Oliveira to go distance. Brazil and Sosa to go the distance, and Olizasek to win on the money line. Second parlay, a bit more risky. We got Wang Kong, one of the biggest favorites on the card, alongside Horiguchi. Bautista by decision, Donchenko by KO, TKO, Almeida on the money line, and that is at 8.69, which is plus 769 for Vegas. Let's fucking go. Alrighty, then we can now transition to tomorrow's event, which is one Friday fights, 1 for 1. And we, of course, will be live for that, ladies and gentlemen. Brother Guy, as you can see, is extremely excited for this one and extremely excited to give his pick. So, Brother Guy, without any further ado, let's go. Parlay number 1.
Parlay number 1. Let's go for one Friday fights. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm mother hyped for this fight, but it's a banger. I've been using this word all day, every day so far. I looked at it and I was like, oh, these fights are sick. Wonderful matchups. I think we're gonna have another explosive Friday fights card. Let's see if it can beat last week's record of 12 knockouts in a single fight. But my parlay, I'm gonna start with the one that's on screen. That's my safest picks for the fight card. I feel like these are the ones I'm most confident in for the wins here. I've got Techa Wallet. He's taking on Saw Min Min. And if you watch Saw Min Min's fights, he only really has a first round in him. Later rounds, the guy doesn't have the gas tank anymore. Techa Wallet, if you watch his fights in one championship, the kid's an absolute monster. He's tall for the division of bantamweight. He's got good range. He's sharp. He's very clever in there. I think he's going to be too rangy for Saw Min Min, especially because Saw Min Min doesn't really have a really good defense. He relies on his durability than rather than in the guard up and moving. So he kind of walks into shots. He took on pretty much not even a prospect from Australia. He's not even considered a prospect. And Trowbridge almost beat him, almost took him away in 2 rounds. And that for me was like, and Techa Wallet is high level already, and he's only 18 years old. So watch the space. I think he's going to school him. I think that's my most confident pick there. I've also got Kun Kwon. He's taking on Son Suk Noi. I know the difference here. He's 20 years old to 31 years old. But Kun Kwon, just like Techa Wallet, is also a tall, rangy fighter. He's 6 feet tall with the flyweight division. That's massive considering that his opponent in Son Suk Noi is only 5'4". That's a massive difference here, guys. I don't think it's a fair fight. The experience level is a big difference. But if you watch Kun Kwon's fighting style and you watch how he performs in one championship, the kid's also got a very much a high IQ like the Wallet. The movement's fantastic. Arches on the balls of his feet, which is a very uncommon thing you see in Muay Thai. Traditionally, the guys don't move like that. He does it really well. He's got a sharp left straight, good step in knee, and a good left high kick as well. I think all his weapons are long ranging. Will keep Son Suk Noi at the end of his punches and kicks. And then we also have, another Russian prospect. We have Mamuka Usubayan. Again, big for the featherweight division, tall and rangy. Fights a little bit like Shingiz Alazov. Fantastic boxing to the body. He's just looking smooth. Look, he's got a good opponent. Yasin Ayrad, I think he's a good opponent, but I think he's just a touch too young. And also, when I watched Yasin's fight outside of one championship, he's a boxing heavy approach, doesn't really kick that much, and sometimes when he goes forward with his commitment to his offense, he does leave the head like a Paddy the Baddy up in the air, not off the center line. Sometimes gets a bit sloppy and gets like a little bit reckless and even loses his own footing when he throws his shots. And if you watch Mamuka fight, he don't fight like that. He's a bit way more stylistic than that. He's a little bit more poised. He doesn't let go of his defense or his positioning at all. When he takes his shots, he's very much composed in those moments. I think he's going to be too skillful and a little bit too more advanced than his opponents. So I got Mamuka for the win there. And then lastly, to close up my moneyline parlay, none other than Thailand's finest, Lamnanunlek. My guy. He is top class. If you don't know, I think he won fight of the year twice. I think it was back to back, by the way. RWS champion. This guy is just top level, 27 years old. Moving over to kickboxing, he's even better. I thought he was wonderful at Muay Thai. He was super dangerous at Muay Thai because of the elbows and the way that he fights. But now kickboxing, I think when I see him fighting, he's a little bit more risk taking from Lamnanunlek than he does when in Muay Thai. Obviously, because in Muay Thai 4-ounce gloves, it's risks. The risk is you have to be really careful because you can get KO'd like that. But in kickboxing, the bigger gloves, it allows him to express himself a little bit more for the fans. It makes him a bit more comfortable in there, and that's why I think he's a bit more dangerous at kickboxing. So let's go Lamnanunlek. And again, on screen, 3.29 is not bad. I know it's a lot of favorites, but dude, I'm most confident in those picks. That's why I'm going with them. Let's go. Okay, parlay number 2. This is the one where we get a little bit, crazy with it. Some props. We're choosing the methods of victory here. And I'm going with ones I feel like it's most likely to end the way I think it's going to end. So as you can see on screen, I've got Moises Lewis versus Suzuki. What's his first name is Hiroki, right? Masaki Suzuki. I've got that fight to start off. That's an MMA bout. But I think Moises Lewis Hooligan is going to be too strong for him, too big. And I don't think the fight's going to go the distance purely because Suzuki he gets finished a lot of the time, and Moises is a guy who goes for the finish. He doesn't fight for decisions. He's a pacey, long-ranging striker and very good on the ground as well. And he doesn't really fight fights to go to the judges. So I think he's going to get the job done over Suzuki there. Johan Ghazali versus Yi Ting Wang. And this is also a tricky fight. I'm saying not to go the distance because when I watched the tape of Yi Ting Wang, what a monster. He is such a crazy fighter. The pace that he puts on in there, the fast left-sided kicks that he throws inside and to the body, and then the way that he keeps you in that tone booth. Dude, the eyes are like this when he fights. I watched the fight against Petsiam and I was like, this man, kid is something special. He's taking on a Johan Ghazali. And Johan Ghazali doesn't really fight for the judges, right? He's the kind of guy that also wants to be the front foot. I want to get to the highlight little finish. I'm gonna put my fist through your face. And that's how Johan Ghazali fights. I think that's gonna be a favorable matchup for Yi Tin Wang. I think it's gonna favor him a little bit more than Johan Ghazali. That's why I got this fight going to not be the distance, because both guys are gonna look for the finish, bro. They're gonna go for that bonus. Ted Chawalet versus Salman Min. Like I said earlier, Salman Min's hit. I don't think he's gonna deal with the range. I think he's gonna have a hard time finding his targets. Ted Chawalet only gets finishes because he chooses the right shots at the right moments with the perfect targets. I got Ted Chawalet getting the win there by a finish, and that's why I got all those fights not going to the distance.
Thank you very much, Brother Guy, once again. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone who has liked the stream so far, who has shared the stream. Thank you very much. And that concludes all of our picks, PG. Thank you very much to you. Once again, reminding you all to please drop those picks in the comment section, in the chat. But yeah, thank you very much, Brother Guy. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, once again. If you have made it this far, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Got new content coming so you can watch.
I watch your podcast every day.
Joe Rogan.
Let's go. What's up, chat? So, as you know, we're going to be live tomorrow for One Friday Fights 141. Hope to see you all day. We smashed the last 2 weeks, back-to-back 20K plus views for Friday Fight Squad. So let's do it again. Get involved. I know we didn't get any banter this evening for our picks, but we will be live tomorrow. Hope to see you all there. Let's talk about some of these picks. Let's get it going. But then also for the remainder of the week, we will probably only get back with the recap on Monday for UFC as well. So that's for next week. For now, enjoy the evening, the daytime, wherever you're watching from. For myself and the Fighting with Friends crew, have a good time. Give us your picks in the comments, please. Let us know. Give us your thoughts, or even compare to ours. Give us your opinions on that. But have a good one, and we will catch you in the next one, guys. Good night. God bless. Cheers, everybody.
I have a son to raise, I have taxes to pay, and I have a leave to